And we begin with breaking news tonight. Police responding to a call concerning enough to lead to evacuations at an apartment complex on the city's west side.
Yeah, police say at least 15 to 20 people were evacuated as police focus in on an apartment unit where a woman may be in need of help. This is near Highway 90 and General McMullen. The night team's Jaffney Gray on the scene at that apartment complex, which is on Thompson Place. Jaffney, I know you just talked to someone from the police department just moments ago. What did they tell you?
Yes, Steve, we actually just got that information. And again, as you mentioned, they are possibly thinking it is something domestic violence related. It all started around 6:45, said that a caller who was driving behind a man and woman in a vehicle entered the apartment complex. And I'll show you just right now, as you can tell, very active as we speak. All of the action is taking place toward the back end. But again, the information that we got is that that caller observed what she believed a man and a woman were arguing. And while they were arguing, she thought it was just, a nonverbal altercation. However, when she parked and got to an area where she can sit and see what's going on, she observed the man aggressively snatching the woman outside of the vehicle and dragging her into the apartment unit. Again, she says as they entered, she saw that take place and she realized that this was something serious, called it in. And at that moment, she said that police, when they started arriving again, they've been working ever since trying to de-escalate this entire situation. Even about 15 to 20 residents living near the unit where this took place, they have had to be evacuated. And right now, police are saying that they are trying to find accommodations for those families that have had to be relocated at this time. Again, they said it's just still a fluid, active investigation. They're going to take things slow to make sure they can de-escalate the situation and make sure the man and woman inside can be brought out peacefully. They still haven't been able to make contact with them just yet. But again, soon as that takes place and as soon as we become to get more details, we'll be sure to bring you that later on in the show. But for now, I'll send it back to you guys.
Very tense situation. Thank you so much, Jaffney. More bullets, more injuries, and a growing caseload for San Antonio police.
Another shooting case today, adding to the growing amount of incidents we've seen just this week. Take a look at this map. The most recent case happening today on Main and Elmira in downtown San Antonio, where a man was critically injured. All of these cases are separate shooting incidents, and police say in most instances the victim knew the gunman. So far, we've reported on at least 9 shootings since Sunday. In at least 4 of those cases, the victims died.
There is concern for the summer months ahead. Churches and outreach groups in historically crime-impacted areas say they're trying to change the way people react to gun violence.
The goal is to stay connected with the community. Pastor Jimmy Robles is putting out a call to action to churches and organizations to unite forces to stop gun violence. He leads a group of volunteers who urge residents in crime-prone neighborhoods to get involved in changing the culture of violence.
See, a lot of people, they just close their doors. They don't want to do anything about it. And then you see tragedies like this happen. We have neighbors that are crying, children that are suffering. Why? Because we want to keep our mouth shut and we don't want to say anything.
Stand Up SA also combats violence. They're working to reduce the number of retaliatory shootings and steering troubled youth out of a life of crime. San Antonio police have taken steps to increase police visibility in the neighborhoods impacted by the recent shootings. They urge anyone with information on the shootings that we've been talking about, call the homicide department at 210-207-7635.
A judge is pointing out a law that can help in domestic violence cases. Her statements come after a mother of 3 was shot on Monday. Police say her estranged husband has a history of domestic violence and is still considered a person of interest. Judge Velia Mesa says domestic violence repeat offenders can be placed in jail without bond. She says a law on the books since 2008 makes this possible.
There is some room for the judges to use their discretion to conduct hearings and to make a determination whether or not this person should continue on bond.
She admits that denying bond is getting pushback from defense attorneys. A recent appeals court opinion may make it more challenging, but Judge Mesa says it's a challenge she accepts.
Social media serves as a platform to connect with friends, find new places to visit, even conduct business. The U.S. Border Patrol warns to watch out, though, for what business opportunities are being offered. One post they say offers readers an opportunity to make money by driving all kinds of vehicles, even big rigs, but they don't say why. Laredo Sector Chief Matthew Hudak says human smugglers are targeting teenagers to help move migrants across the border.
Kids maybe don't realize that they're actually engaging in a pretty substantial felony at that point.
Some of those teens may be taking migrants to stash houses or other destination points. The recruitment can have dire consequences. A 15-year-old driver with migrants led authorities on a chase in 2016. It ended in a deadly crash, the driver serving an 8-year sentence.
It was meant to enhance public trust and increase transparency. But nearly half a year after San Antonio police introduced a body-worn camera policy, the department has yet to release a single clip of video. As the Night Team's Dylan Collier reports, the bumpy rollout adding another layer of murkiness for those trying to see how SAPD officers interact with the community during deadly situations. It's tonight's Defenders investigation.
He's not an idiot. He may have been in a mental health crisis mode, but he would not have done that.
More than 2 months after a San Antonio police officer shot and killed her younger brother, Deborah Montez Felder and SAPD are nowhere near to being on the same page about what happened. Officers were called to a house on Brighton Avenue early in the morning, March 26th, after receiving a call for an assault in progress. 57-year-old John Pena Montez, a military veteran, threatened to kill himself while holding a knife outside the home and then advanced toward his common-law wife, getting within arm's length of her and slapping her in the face, according to SAPD records of the incident.
He loves his family. She loved him. They are in a difficult situation.
And while Montez's family described him as depressed, in a mental health crisis, and more likely to seriously harm himself than anyone else, the department's narrative, including quotes from family inside the residence, states that Montez used his shoulder to break into the home, saying out loud, if cops come, he would go at them. Shortly after officers arrived and found Montez standing near an entryway, they said he lunged at them. After one officer attempted to deploy his taser twice, a second officer, Stephen Ramos, a 1-year veteran of the department, shot and killed Montez.
John was a loving guy. When at his best, he was a joker. He was the center of our gatherings.
More than a month after Montez's death, SAPD officials arranged to have his family watch footage of the fatal encounter. A meeting at public safety headquarters the family claims turned hostile after Felder and her husband were told they could only view one clip recorded by Ramos's body-worn camera.
And I said, this will not satisfy me. I want to see the entire video and audio.
Instead, after watching the approximately 90-second sequence twice, the viewing ended, leaving the family with even more questions about the last moments of Montez's life, as they claim at no point did the footage show him lunge at officers.
When the word lunge came up, I thought back, I said, where is this lunge that is being talked about but done by John that would have justified the shooting?
Adding to the intensity of the meeting, according to the family, SAPD's decision to have a detective use a body-worn camera to chronicle it.
It's recording essentially me looking at the video of the killing of my brother.
Department officials refused to make Chief William McManus available for an interview. They told us rules require them to use these cameras to document all interactions with the public.
To me, it's confrontational.
Former officer Kevin LaChapelle is a California-based police accountability expert. He believes departments should be compassionate in these situations and recognize they are dealing with a family whose loved one died following an encounter with police. LaChapelle also takes issue with SAPD's decision to block the video from being released to the public, the third time it's done so in the first 3 fatal shootings since the new policy took effect in late December.
I think to hunker down and create policies to prohibit transparency is a dangerous path.
Footage of critical incidents involving domestic violence are not released under the policy. unless the chief determines it serves a law enforcement purpose. The department, told by local experts a survivor's right to privacy far outweighs the public's interest in these cases, and that prematurely releasing information could further aggravate fears of reporting an abuser to authorities altogether. While SAPD officials are determined to keep footage of Montez's death away from public scrutiny, that decision goes against the wishes of his own family.
Is this something the family wants out there publicly?
Yes, release it. We want transparency. Help us to get that transparency. If you know us, you know that we want the truth.
The whole purpose of body-worn cameras is for accountability. And so to kind of dismiss that and disallow the public from access to that, to me, is very concerning.
For the defenders, Dylan Collier, KSAT 12 News.
The next shooting by SAPD officers approaching the 60-day deadline for footage release is the April 15th death of Joe Gomez. He was shot by a Park police officer and then shot and killed himself after firing a gun from both highway overpass and then at a San Antonio International Airport terminal. SAPD officials have indicated they will release video from this encounter. San Antonio Police Chief William McManus previously described the officer as a hero. Well, taking a look outside with live cam tonight, San Antonio saw another day of warmer temperatures earlier today.
Yeah, tonight temperatures still just in the 80s. Another chance for rain, though. Is it on the horizon with all this mugginess? We're going to check in with meteorologist Adam Caskey in a moment. Still on the Nightbeat, a tornado touchdown. This is new video out of Lavaca County where a tornado hit earlier this month. Another thing we want to talk to meteorologist Adam Caskey about as he tracks the latest stats around this tornado.
And the legislative session is almost over. Where are some of these bills in the process and the latest on a bill meant to protect our power? It's coming up.
The 87th Texas legislature scheduled to wrap up on Monday. And with time running out, there's a call to revive some measures with a special session. The heartbeat bill, already signed, adding abortion restrictions. The permitless carry bill, which loosens restrictions on handguns, is still one of several measures that needs the governor's signature. Then there's the bill that could keep transgender students from joining male or female sports teams that don't match their assigned sex. The measure effectively died overnight, but a special session could change that. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick specifically naming the bill SB 29 in a tweet saying he asked Governor Abbott to call a special session in June to try and pass the bill. Patrick also named several other conservative measures he wanted lawmakers to revisit. Governor Abbott released a tweet saying House and Senate lawmakers must use the time available to get, quote, important conservative legislation to my desk, end quote. Meanwhile, a bill stemming from February's winter storm is still in the hands of lawmakers. That legislation meant to require some weatherization for some natural gas energy suppliers and energy systems.
This was the site just before 5 o'clock in the afternoon on May 18th. A tornado caught on camera near Hallettsville in Lavaca County. Lavaca County Emergency Management released this video today. They also released new pictures of some of the damage. Thankfully, no injuries reported, but there was some damage, including these trees that were snapped like twigs there. Meteorologist Adam Caskey standing by to tell us a little bit more about this. Adam?
Yeah, and it was on the ground for about 1.5 miles. EF1 tornado, so max winds of about up to 100 miles per hour. Now, some of you may not have heard of Sublime, Texas. That's okay. I'm here for you. Take a look at this map. It's far east of San Antonio, near Hallettsville, as we mentioned, in eastern Lavaca County. And this is rated EF1, as we mentioned, so max sustained winds at about 100 miles per hour with it. Path length, 1.6 miles. And the maximum width of that path was 150 yards. So you see right there from Hallettsville to Kinkler to Sublime, closer to Sublime in northeastern Lavaca County. So that was one of the confirmed touchdowns that day on the 18th. We had another one just south of LaGrange rated as EF1 as well. So let's talk about our weather pattern. What about storm chances as we go forward? There's some activity out there, especially north up the plains. Nebraska into the Dakotas, starting to see some of that active weather shift northward as we often do this time of year. Over Texas, we've got this little bump in the upper level flow, so not as much activity on the radar screen today as the past couple of days. That ridge gives us the quiet weather that we have now. Another quiet day tomorrow. Luckily, we've been seeing some showers in West Texas and the Western Panhandle. That's where we need the rain the most. This is the Drought Monitor, which will be updated tomorrow, and we are looking forward to the new Drought Monitor when it comes in tomorrow. We'll have it right at 9 a.m. and we'll have it all day long. It's nice to be able to look forward to the Drought Monitor and not dread the new Drought Monitor. Anyway, West Texas, Western Panhandle, and of course, just south of San Antonio is where we need the rain the most. But we're going to see a big difference in that map come tomorrow. So let's talk about our storm chances, basically starting Friday night and then lasting into next week. It's a messy weather pattern we're getting in. It's kind of complicated in the sense that it's not the type of rain chances and storm chances where what we're used to, where they pop up overhead and they hit us. These would be coming in from different parts of Texas. So what we're expecting to see are different groups of storms. First being Friday, developing in North Texas, and then the remnants of those storms, or the leftovers, making it to San Antonio. So Friday night into Saturday, that's our first shot. Then you see Sunday some activity elsewhere. We'll see these complexes of storms develop in other parts of Texas. And instead of just a medium range forecast, it's more of a short range and kind of a nowcast situation where we just have to see exactly where they pop up, how they organize, and then where they're going to be steered and where they're going to move. So yes, we have some rain chances in the forecast and storm chances. They're just not all that high right now because we can't rely on those outside storms and the leftovers of them. So we're putting it at 30% Friday night into Saturday. Another 30% Tuesday into Wednesday. Let's talk temperatures. 73 this morning, above average again because of the high humidity. High temperature, 88, right near the average of 89. It's that time of year where the average high is just about 90 degrees. Dew points, just oppressive out there. We have that thick Gulf moisture in place. All the way to Kerrville, the dew point is 62. Del Rio, dew point is 70. So that makes it feel like it's about 3 to 5 degrees warmer than the actual air temperature, which currently is still at 80 here in San Antonio. Hondo 81, 77 Fredericksburg, and Del Rio at 88. So tomorrow morning, a lot like what we had today. Low clouds, temperatures low to mid 70s, but some upper 60s in the hill country. Very sticky and humid. By the afternoon, we could be pushing the upper 90s along the Rio Grande. Del Rio 97 and even 101 in Laredo. Stone Oak, meanwhile, 89, Bernie, 87, Lavernia, 89, and Castroville, 91. Morning clouds will give way to some of that afternoon sunshine, southeasterly breeze at 10 to 15, which just reinforces the moisture and the humidity. And through the Memorial Day weekend, we're looking at high temperatures, mostly in the mid to upper 80s, but still very humid with a mixture of sun and clouds. Tomorrow, the new Drought Monitor. Bring it on.
We're just as excited as you. Thank you so much, Hunter.
Yeah, he's pretty excited about that Drought Monitor. All right, remember Spygate? It was so long ago, the Patriots were actually worried about the Jets being a good team.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because that's where they were caught videotaping the coach's signals. But now Spygate has taken a very big turn, a twist, if you will, and it involves Donald Trump before he was president. More on that coming up. Plus, is Kawhi and the Clippers on the ropes? Coming up.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
Dallas Cowboys star quarterback Dak Prescott took today off from the organized team activities, but it's all part of the plan. The plan to keep him on his feet just a little over 7 months ago after he suffered the devastating injury on October the 11th that saw him not only dislocate his right ankle, but suffered a compound fracture of both bones. Dak telling us he knew a month ago he was ready to go, but admits he made a lot of progress mentally as well.
A couple of weeks ago, y'all saw me handing off the ball and carrying out my fake. A couple of weeks ago, I may have been a little bit more timid, where the last few days I was really trying to push it, and I was trying to go further than I normally would carrying out the fake, just as I said, just for that psychological effect to say, hey, you're good, you're fine, you see you're doing it. So as the more reps happen, the better and better it feels.
Good to hear. Cowboys linebacker Jalen Smith, who made headlines when he decided to switch his jersey number from 54 to number 9 since it had been part of his life since he was 9, admitting he has yet to talk to Tony Romo about taking over his number. But now with a new defensive coordinator in Dan Quinn, and after using their first pick in the NFL draft to select linebacker Micah Parsons, what have the Cowboys told him about his role now that the linebacker room is filling up?
I'm one of the oldest guys in the room now. On the defensive roster, and really just getting an opportunity to take that next step. You're really leading. Sean Lee had a hell of a career, and kudos to him. Big shout out to Sean Lee just on all the hard work and determination that he brought to this game and to this franchise. Definitely someone that we all look up to. But for me, it's just taking this role in leading and getting an opportunity, for this defense to succeed the right way.
The Houston Texans have signed their first draft pick, quarterback Davis Mills. That's according to the Houston Chronicle, that says it's a 4-year deal for the Stanford quarterback. Because the Texans had traded away their first 2 picks in this year's draft, Houston selected Mills in the 3rd round, wound up being the final Texans draft pick to sign today. Even though Mills had a very short college career, he was able to throw for over 3,400 yards and 18 touchdowns. The Texans selecting the quarterback with their first pick as insurance if Deshaun Watson, who is facing 22 civil lawsuits, can't suit up for one reason or another. There is a report out today that claims TV star Donald Trump offered campaign cash to then Senator Arlen Specter if he would drop the investigation into Spygate involving the New England Patriots. That is according to ESPN. That goes on to report that Trump did it on behalf of Patriots owner Robert Kraft. A senior advisor to Trump, Jason Miller, says this is completely false, and a team spokesman says Kraft never asked Trump to speak to Arlen Specter on his behalf. At the time in 2007, the Patriots had been accused of illegally videotaping opposing coaches' signals, following a rather rapid NFL investigation after the Patriots had been caught taping the New York Jets coaches' signals. The league fined the Patriots $250,000. Head coach Bill Belichick an additional $500,000, and Commissioner Roger Goodell confiscated the team's first-round draft pick. Don't look now. The Dallas Mavericks have just destroyed the Clippers in Los Angeles. The first 2 games of the NBA playoffs would take a 2-0 lead in their best of 7, with the series now headed to Dallas for the next 2 games. That's even after former Spur Kawhi Leonard scored 18 of his 30 first-half points in the first quarter alone. But still, the Mavs held the lead thanks to Luka Doncic, who led Dallas with 39 points, including 5 3-pointers. The turning point was the 3rd quarter when the Mavs outscored the Clippers 30-19, giving Dallas as much as a 14-point lead. Leonard would still finish the game with 41 points, with only 11 total in the second half of the 127-121 loss. What is the message to the Clippers going into Game 3 Friday in Dallas?
Making sure that we stand even keel. You know what I mean? It's playoff basketball. We just got to figure it out. We got to figure it out. Just like the regular season, you might lose 2 in a row and then you go on a winning streak. So just having that same mentality and just, we playing the same team. So, we know what they're doing. And, that's pretty much it. That's the message. Just got to stay focused and make sure that we keep an eye on the prize.
Smithson Valley Rangers riding a big wave of momentum into the regional semifinals next. The Smithson Valley Rangers are headed to Class 6A Region 4 semifinals in baseball, where the Rangers will face Eagle Pass in the best-of-3 series starting Thursday right here in San Antonio. That's tomorrow, of course. It's after the Rangers were able to eliminate the Reagan Rattlers last weekend in a winner-take-all Game 3. They had to go to extra innings, where Ethan Gonzalez hit a walk-off RBI single to win it 6-5 in 8.
Being able to beat a powerhouse like Reagan, they're a really good team. So being able to beat them, it's a really good motivator to be able to keep going in the playoffs.
I think the momentum is great, but in a way, you kind of got to put it behind you and just focus on this week and try and get better for the weekend.
This time of the year, there's only 16 teams left playing, so you're going to play a good team, and so we're excited about the opportunity. We're excited about what lies ahead for us.
Game 1 is Thursday at 7 at Northside Field. In fact, we have 4 games we're going to be at tomorrow around, not only just in San Antonio, but also down in Jordan as well.
It is baseball playoff time.
Sure
and
is.
Softball.
Yeah, and softball.
Time.
The big game tomorrow in Buda. We'll be there for that one.
All right. Thanks, Greg.
We'll be right back.
That does it for the Nightbeat. Don't forget, Good Morning San Antonio starts at 4:30.
Good night.